Hello everybody. Today in this video I will be reading a Wikipedia article in English to help people who want to learn English better understand the way a native English speaker would talk. Now the topic I've chosen is Michigan because I live in Michigan. This is the state flag of Michigan. I like it. There's a deer right here, and a moose right here, and an eagle right here. Michigan is known as the Wolverine State, the Great Lakes State, the Automotive State, and the Water Winter Wonderland State. We get harsh winters here, just so you know that. Michigan is a Midwestern state of the United States of America, located in the East North Central States, as defined by the United States Census Bureau. It was named after Lake Michigan, whose name is a French adaptation of the Ojibwa term Michigami, meaning large water or large lake. Bounded by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes plus Lake St. Clair, Michigan has the longest freshwater shoreline in the world. In 2005, Michigan ranked 3rd for the number of registered recreational boats, behind California and Florida. A person in Michigan is never more than 85 miles or 137 kilometers from open Great Lakes water, and is never more than 6 miles or 10 kilometers from a natural water source. The Great Lakes that border Michigan from east to west are Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, and Lake Superior. Michigan is the only state to consist entirely of 2 peninsulas. The lower peninsula of Michigan, to which the name Michigan was originally applied, is sometimes dubbed the Mitten, owing to its shape. When asked where in Michigan one comes from, a resident of the lower peninsula may often point to the corresponding part of his or her hand. The Upper Peninsula, often referred to as the UP, is separated from the Lower Peninsula by the Straits of Mackinac, a 5-mile or 8-kilometer wide channel that joins Lake Huron to Lake Michigan. The Upper Peninsula, whose residents are often called Yoopers, is economically important for tourism and natural resources. The Upper and Lower Peninsulas are connected by the 5-mile-long or 8-kilometer-long Mackinac Bridge, which is the 3rd largest suspension bridge between anchorages in the world. The bridge has given rise to the nickname of Trolls for residents of the Lower Peninsula, for they live under or south of the bridge. Now I'm going to go to the 17th century history, which is in the 1600s. French voyageurs explored and settled in Michigan in the 17th century, which is the 1600s. The first Europeans to reach what later became Michigan were those of Etienne Brulé expedition in 1622. The first European settlement was made in 1641 on the site where Father Pierre, in French Jacques Marquette, established Sault Ste. Marie in 1668. St. Ignace was founded in 1671 and Marquette in 1675. Together with Sault Ste. Marie, they are the 3 oldest cities in Michigan. The Sault Ste. Marie, has the distinction of being the oldest city in both Michigan and Ontario. It was split into 2 cities in 1818, a year after the U.S.-Canada boundary in the Great Lakes was finally established by the U.S.-UK Joint Border Commission. In 1679, Lord LaSalle of France directed the construction of the Griffin, the first European sailing vessel on the upper Great Lakes. That same year, LaSalle built Fort Miami at present-day St. Joseph. 18th century history, which is the 1700s. In 1701, French explorer and army officer Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac founded Le Fort Pontchartrain du Detroit, or Fort Pontchartrain on the strait between Lake St. Clair and Erie, known as the Detroit River. Cadillac had convinced King Louis the 14th's chief minister Louis Philippot Comte de Pontchartrain that a permanent community there would strengthen French control over the upper Great Lakes and repel British aspirations. The 100 soldiers and workers who accompanied Cadillac built a fort enclosed one arpent, about 0.85 acres, the equivalent of just under 200 feet or 61 meters per side, and named it Fort Pontchartrain. Cadillac's wife, Marie Thérèse, moved to Detroit, becoming one of the first white women to settle in the Michigan wilderness. The town quickly became a major fur trading and shipping post. The Église de Sainte-Anne Church of St. Anne, was founded the same year. While the original building does not survive, the congregation of that name continues to be active today. At the same time, the French strengthened Fort Michilimackinac at the Straits of Mackinac to better control their lucrative fur trading empire. By the mid-18th century, the French also occupied forts at present-day Niles and Sault Ste. Marie, though most of the rest of the region remained unsettled by whites. From 1660 to the end of French rule, Michigan was part of the Royal Province of New France. In 1759, following the Battle of the Plains of Abram, in the French and Indian War, which lasted from 1754 to 1763, Quebec City fell to British forces. Under the 1763 Treaty of Paris, Michigan and the rest of New France passed to Great Britain. During the American Revolutionary War, Detroit was an important British supply center, but most of the inhabitants were neither Native Americans or French Canadians. Because of imprecise cartography and unclear language defined the boundaries in the 1763 Treaty of Paris, the British retained control of Detroit and Michigan. When Quebec was split into Lower and Upper Canada in 1790, Michigan was part of Kent County, Upper Canada. It held its first democratic elections in August 1792 to send delegates to new provincial parliament at Newark, now Niagara-on-the-Lake. Under terms negotiated in the 1794 Jay Treaty, Britain withdrew from Detroit and Michilimackinac in 1796. Questions remained over the boundary for many years, and the United States did not have any uncontested control of the Upper Peninsula and Drummond Island until 1818 and 1847, respectively. I'm sorry if I got any of the names wrong. I'm not really good at reading French names, and that's all for now. I'll see you guys on my next